So our second unit will be about files and folders. Having learned what computer is and computing and understanding how the computer works, it is now important that we understand now the nitty-gritties of networking and files and folders. So in this section, we're going to understand the files and folders and create folders and files and also manipulate the files and the folders. So we can start. By definition, a file is a collection of data on a single unit. All files store data, whether in text, in music, or a film. So a set of related data or information is stored on a secondary storage device. So a file, by definition, can be data or information. It can be a program or a file. It can also be data that can be in any format, like text files, audio, executable programs, and so on. So you might think a file is simply a digital version of a real world thing, but it's something you can interact with on the computer. So files are usually represented by an icon. So an icon is simply a pictogram or an ideogram, which is displayed on a computer. So if you're on your desktop, I will take you through the most applicable framework. So these ones are called files that you're seeing. I have files where I'm going to mix this kind of chili. So these are called files. So in these files, I can store in Word documents. Like here, I've got a PDF document. All right. So I can also store in videos. So these are videos that are in there. There's song. I can also store in music videos. I can also store in applications. So you can see this is an application, an MD file. So these are the folders where you can store different types of music, different types of information. So it is simply an extension. You can put in an MP3 file, which is music, a PDF, a movie, a JPEG, a period picture. So it requires a specific application to open it. So files can be in Word, can be in a picture, JPEG, can be an audio, can be a video. These are different types of files. Now, a folder stores these files and other types of files. These have different sizes as they hold many files in folders. So if a folder is simply a container that carries the files. This folder can have subfolders in there. For instance, when you go to my desktop here, I have this tendency of opening files of files. So under my desktop here, these are files that are outside. There is also a desktop here, 23. When I open it, inside here, there are other folders in there. And these folders have different types of information in there. Some of them have softwares, some of them have music. So you can open each of these ones depending on what you want. All right. So this is what a folder can do. So folders are simply carriers, they're containers that can have subfolders in there. So we also have windows that use folders to help you organize your data. So you can put the files inside another file or inside another folder. All right. So for you to have these files, it requires an OS to open it. So when you go on your Windows, maybe you may have photos, you may have recipes, you have work, you can organize your data in that. So what is the difference between a file and a folder? Okay, so we can differentiate it in terms of the following, the extension. So files may not have extensions, whereas folders, files may or may not have extensions, whereas folders do not have extensions. The container. A file does not contain another file, whereas a folder can contain another. So, like I said, this is a file, it's written PDF file, JPEG file, and a folder. It's called a file folder. So a folder is a file is a file. So what I'm trying to say is, in a folder, you can contain other folders, but a file cannot contain another file. So in terms of memory, a file has a certain size and memory, whereas a folder has no size of its own. It derives its size from the files that are in there. So if you want to understand the size of this folder, I'll right click here, then I will go to the properties there. Now you can see that there are about 26 files. There are no folders in there, but the size is derived from each individual of these 26 files. So this is how we quantify the size of a folder. So the size of a folder emanates from the files, but files have their own size and memory. The attributes. So if we're going to look at a file has a name, it has an extension, it has a date, it has a time, it has a length, and it has a protection. You can encrypt it if you want. Whereas a folder only has a name, date, time, protection. It has nothing to do with length. All right. Then when we go to supported operations, a file can open, save, rename, print, email, modify. Whereas a folder, you can only move, rename, delete, and share. You cannot modify. So sharing, files cannot be shared on a network of their own, whereas folders can be shared on a network. So these are the key differences. So when you go to the File Explorer, you can view and organize files. You can also use built-in applications such as File Explorer, which is called the Windows Explorer in Windows 10. So to open a file, you need to click the File Explorer icon on the taskbar and double-click any folder on the desktop, and a new File Explorer will appear. So this is how the File Explorer looks like. It looks at the file like this, then you double click to open any of them. So you also need to understand that a file and folder have two ways to open them. So if you want to open, you need to find the file on the computer and double click it. This will open the file. That's using the default application. But to open the application, you need to use the application to open it. So once you have a file, you can go to the menu and you can open with. So different types of files have software that may open it differently. So for instance, for me, I have different types of files on my desktop. So some of the files, like this is a PDF file. I have what is called Wondershare. I've also got a JPEG file, which can be opened by JPEG. Windows, Microsoft can be opened by Office. So different. I have also SPSS, which can only be opened by an applicable software for it. So you right click on the window and give the option. So this is how we create a new folder. We want to create a new folder, you right click, then you go to the option to create a new folder, then you click it, then you can rename it. That is how we create new folders. All right. Are we following so far? Any questions?
Yes, I am. Maybe you can repeat on creating a folder then. On the practical part, yeah.
Hello, you're saying?
I was saying maybe you can repeat for me the practical part of creating a folder.
All right, okay. So so in creating a folder, I'll go to my desktop here. So you can right click, then you go to new. Okay. Right click, the options that you have here. So you can go to new, then there's a folder there. You click on the folder, then to give you an option to rename it. So you can name it what you want, Natasha. Then enter. So this is how you create a folder. Then in this folder, you can put in what you want here. So if you have materials like a video, so I can put in a video here. So this is a video that I'm putting in here. I have a lecture on market and PPT. So these are called videos MP. I can also put in a PowerPoint. I can put in a PowerPoint lecture in computing. Control V. Here I have computer components. If I want, I can put in what? An audio file. Okay, or a picture. All right, so I can put in a picture folder in there. So this is Control V. So this is how you create a folder and you put in what you want. So basically, the process is you go right click, then you have these options there, then you go to new, you're going to a folder, then you click on folder, and the folder will come in, then you can rename it. So renaming it, you can change the name to any unique name that you want. So when you click there, you wait about a second, you click again and you edit it there. So when you enter, the name will be changed. So remember, right click, you go to new, choose folder, then rename. So you can rename. So how do we delete a folder? If you no longer want it, you can go into the folder. You can press Control Delete to go directly outside the, or you right click and delete. So this is, you can create a folder inside the folder here. I said you go to new, then choose folder, then you go to NAT if you want, what for a second is there. If you want to delete, you right click, okay, then you choose what, delete, then to delete. That's how we delete it. Are you following? So to go to the recycle bin. So if you want to,
Yes, I am following.
Remove it, you can empty the recycle bin, it will be out completely. So you right click, when you go to the recycle bin, you can empty the recycle bin and you can delete what is in there. So selecting more than one file. So if you want to view your file icons, you can drag them using a mouse and put them into a box and select. When you're done, you can release the mouse and you can now move, copy, or delete the file. So when you're on the desktop and you want to itemize the files that you want to have, for instance, here, I'm on my desktop here. I will hold the control button, then I'll start clicking one by one the file that I want. All right. So this is in selecting. So you can move them by holding them, all these files. Where do you want to take them? If you want to take them in this, they'll be moved to this, all of them. All right. So this is how you move. You can move this to where you want it to be by dragging it. If you want to select the number, you can just control and select them one by one. So this is how the files are selected. If you want, you can select all by Control A, everything will be highlighted. So when I go here, I select one item, then Control A, everything is highlighted. So I can simply move everything that I want to move. So this is how the folders are treated. So selecting specific folder, you need to press Control, and like I've mentioned, you select the files that you want. All right. If you want to select all, you shift letter A, and all of them will be what? Will be all highlighted. So these are shortcuts that you need to know that will help you understand how to create a folder. You can send the shortcut. So you can also create a shortcut by locating and right-clicking the desired folder and send it to the desktop. For instance, if I'm not on my desktop, I'm maybe in my documents there. If I want this one to be a shortcut on the desktop, you right-click, then it will give you an option to create a shortcut. So on this part here, there's a create shortcut. When you click it, means there's a shortcut on your desktop. So when you go to my desktop, there should be a shortcut that came from the course for what? For 420 somewhere. The name of it should be somewhere. All right, so these are shortcuts. I created a shortcut for something else. So this is how I create a shortcut. And I'm looking for it, I can't see it, but that is what we do. So how do we search for files? We can create a search box to the start and type the file that you're looking for. Then you can search in the extension and search the file by name. So like I did not find it there. When you want to look for a file on the desktop, you can go into this search button here. If I'm looking for Jaden, I can just type maybe the first letters. I'll have everything that is Jaden. It will give you the quickest way to look for what you need. So this is how we search for information. So we can search for default folders. If you don't have a specific name, just look for default folders. You can also search for pictures by name. You can also search in the recycle bin by going to recycle bin, because some of the stuff that we delete may be in the recycle bin. So working with common shortcuts. So we have keys of combinations. If you were to press them, you're going to have a faster way than using a mouse to getting them. For instance, Control A will select everything. Control B, you make them bold. Control C is for copying. Control F is to find. Control N if you want to open a new folder. Control O if you want to open an existing file. Control S to save. Control X to cut, and Control Z to undo. So in summary, this session we looked at how files are defined, how we create files, how we organize files, as well as how the filing shortcuts are done. The files are very important because they help us understand the quickest way to resolving problems of search and find and organizing data on our computers. So are there any questions so far?
No, so far so good.
So far so good. All right. Okay, so if we go to our pamphlet, so I've put questions and solutions for different papers. Okay. So we can look at questions to do with files. All right. So question is here, what is a file extension? By definition, what is a file extension? So a file extension from what we've learned is simply what is the file extension of a Word document. So the file extension of a Word document, the extensions are simply what we have at the end. So an extension, for instance, of a PDF is .pdf. All right. An extension for a Word document is .docs. A docs file is a document. So when you're going here, there are these ending words here. A PDF document. Okay, and there's a Word document. So they end with what? Words. Okay. So a file extension for a Word document is a docs file. How about a PDF is a PDF? Okay. Are you following?
Yes, I'm following. So for PDF, it's called a PDF.
So for a Word document, it is what?
Docs.
Yes. Okay, so we have several types of extensions that you need to know. Let me just mention just a few of them for your example.
Okay.
All right, so we have the following extensions. So we have Microsoft Word, we call it .docs. Okay, Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. This is extension .xlsx. PowerPoint .ppt. Portable PDF. PDF stands for portable document format. .pdf. JPEG, it's a picture. .jpeg. Okay. For a portable network graphics, those pictures. .png. A plain text document. .txt. An MP audio file. .mp3. A video. MP4 video. .mp4. Compressed archive file. .zip. Hypertext markup language file from the web page. .html. Executable file program. .exe. Graphic interface format. .gif. We've seen these ones on WhatsApp, or somebody is laughing. Those ones, you've seen them, right? Where somebody
Yes, I've seen them. Yes.
comma separated
I've
value.
seen them before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Adobe file document .pst. So these are just examples that you need to know. All right. Are you following?
Yes, I'm following.
Okay. So, what other questions do we have regarding files? Let's go to the pamphlet. So, you're asked to conduct a presentation on how computers and the internet to the audience not familiar with technology, help them understand the delivery. We explain what is visual aid, okay? In cooperation with visual aid in a PowerPoint may be through embedding or linking files inside. Reasons why you would embed a file rather than a video, okay? This is under files, but I'll explain that when we're dealing with PowerPoint, because we have quite a lot to cover. All right. Let me see anything related to what we've done so far, so that I don't. Okay, so the shortcuts that we've talked about, how do we create a new blank page? Control N. How do we find Control F? How do we align the center? All right. Then also shortcut key to print, Control P. These are just part the shortcuts, yeah. Other things to do with files. The extension, this one we've already answered. Okay, so basically, I think that is what we needed to look at under files.